So I've had this truck sitting on the shelf just waiting for the snow to clear, but I just can't wait anymore. Take a look at this machine. It is absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to walk you through some of the cool features. I'm going to share my likes and dislikes as well as my first mods, and then we'll take it for a drive. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right in. All right, so first off, when I bought this desk, I thought I would never need a bigger one, but I've been proven wrong. This truck is massive. I don't have enough space. It's barely able to fit in the shot, but hey, we have to go on. So this is the FMS FCX10 Camel Trophy Defender. Most of you already know that it comes in 3 different styles. You have the Range Rover, the Discovery, as well as this Defender. Personally, I think the Defender looks the best. I've kind of always had a soft spot for the Defender design. This is the D110 version, so it's a long wheelbase. Looks great, love it to bits. But to walk you through some of the features on this truck, first off, look at the scale details here. We have the molded bumper, molded fenders here. You have the steps here, door handles, the hinges, mirrors, and the mirrors do have mirrors as well. Snorkel on here, wiper blades, full depth interior, nice beautiful roof rack. Let's try to swing it around here. Matter of fact, let's just turn it off real quick so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. This truck is absolutely huge, as you can see, but we're gonna try to make things work here. So a few more details on the back here. You have that spare tire mount, the ladder here, and you have the spot to put some of the jerry cans, 4 in total. That's a bunch of jerry cans, but love the design overall. Think this truck looks really good. This is a big old girl here. This truck weighs about 10 pounds, so big truck, my biggest truck to date, but it's beautiful, so I forgive it. This truck does have a couple cool features, namely the light function. So if you control it here from channel 5, you see the lights come on there, roof rack and the headlights, front and back. Let me show you that real quick. This truck is a big old girl, but let's see what I can do. Hold on 1 second here. So that's the lights on the back. As you can see there, if you reverse, I should get some extra lights, as you can see. Some of you might notice that I'm not having indicators when I turn. However, if I turn here and press channel 4, you get the indicator light. So some people like to hate on the indicators, which I don't understand why. I'd much rather have the indicators than not. I understand that when you turn, you don't want the indicators going like this all the time. Yeah, I get that, but at least this truck strikes that balance where you can turn them off if you don't want them, as you can see there. So that's good. So that helps everybody, or the people that have issues with the indicators, that solves that problem. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, it does have the 2-speed that you control on channel 4. So just press that to go into 2nd gear or the high-speed gear. Press it to go in the low-speed gear. So that's pretty good. Diffs are always locked. You don't have any functionality to control that. However, it is cross-compatible with the other trucks like the K5, where you can easily retrofit that. So that's pretty good. For me personally, the simplicity of this truck is pretty good. So I don't mind not having the control over that. At least I know that nothing will break. So that's pretty good. Let's take a closer look at the chassis. So I'm going to turn this truck off here. This is a big old girl, so we have to do things a little bit different here, but let's take that off. Now, if you have the limb risers installed, you're going to want to make sure you take these off first. So you pull that on this side here. Now you have 2 clips on the bottom. So one twist turns the front, another one turns the back. And if we take a closer look at the chassis, you can see where it is a 32 turn 550 motor, all-in-one ESC. I don't really like that actually, but we'll get to that in a second. You have the fender liners. That's a nice touch. Very simple overall. The light function is magnetized. You just key the body in right here, and the body clips, very simple twisting mechanism right there. Slider style drive shaft, metal links front and back, 90mm shocks like I mentioned earlier with the dual springs, My truck specifically, I did raise the preload just a little bit on the front, maxed it out on the back because I have the bigger tires, as you can see. We're going to talk a little bit about these tires. These are great tires. I think they're made of double-sided tape actually, but we'll get to that in a second. As for my likes and dislikes, first off, it's a beautiful truck. Love it to bits. Looks great. Runs super quiet. I love all the details on the body. I love that it's a clipless body as well, and the steering angle is pretty good. However, this truck is not perfect. The first concern I have is with the straight axle setup. There's been a lot of reports from the LC80 truck. This is not the LC80, I'm aware of that, but it does have the same straight axles, and the axles are kind of weak on these trucks. I'm hoping they made the updates for the Camel trophy trucks so I won't have any issues breaking axles. That's the first concern here. The next thing that I don't like too much about this truck is, for a Camel trophy truck, I really wish they made provisions for some rock lights. I would love to add some rock lights to this truck. It's a minor gripe, but I think that would still be a lot better to have it than not. So I really wish it had those provisions for the rock lights. The next thing that I don't like is this truck, it needs more power. I haven't actually driven it outside just yet, but just from driving it around in my house, it's kind of slow. It doesn't quite have the power that I think it needs. It's okay, but it could use a little bit more power. I also don't like that it's an all-in-one ESC. So if I wanted to add the power to the truck, I may lose my light functionality. So that's not great. I really wish it had the receiver and ESC separate so I could change the motor without losing the light functions, but I'll have to do some research to see what I can do to give it some more power without losing the light functionality. So that's not great. And finally, not finally, there's another one, but the next thing I don't like about it is the maximum size you can put for a LiPo is 5,000 milliamp hours. The battery box is a little too small. I could probably move this ESC. That might be a good option, to move the ESC maybe to the rock slider or something so I can fit a bigger pack in there, but it's a little bit narrow. So even if I got a longer pack in there, it can't be any wider. So I don't really like that. A truck like this, you want to drive it for as long as possible, and 5,000 milliamp hours is pretty big, but I'd love to fit a 6,000 milliamp hour pack in there. So another minor gripe, but I really wish it did have that. The next thing is you can't adjust the shock angles. So this truck is pretty softly sprung out the box, and I would love to try to make some tuning or do some tuning to this truck to make sure I have the right performance for me. And you can't adjust the shock angles. It's pretty much one way. This truck does have the dual springs, so that's cool. And the shock collars, you can adjust that as well. But I really wish I could change the angle to tune the way the truck behaves. So another minor gripe, but I really do wish it had that. As for the contents in the box, you do get your 6-channel transmitter. You have the dip switches up here with your tuning functions right there. Pretty nice overall, nice and ergonomic with the foam grip on there. I like that. You do get the biggest owner's manual I've ever seen. So huge owner's manual. You have a lot of stuff in there. I typically don't read owner's manuals, to be completely honest, but when you get an owner's manual this thick, you want to see what it has to say. So huge owner's manual. You get a lot of other extra bits here, you know, to add the scale detail. You get a little hat for the driver. That's pretty cool. You get some stickers as well. These are the stock wheels. They are 4.3. Compound feels pretty good. And to be honest, a lot of you might wonder why I would put these wheels on the truck and it's a Camel trophy, you know, like a heritage truck. But for me, I'd like to have the option to use the Camel trophy wheels when I want to go like super scale. But typically in a day-to-day, I want to have this truck look super cool and just be a super tough looking Defender. I thought these wheels were a little too narrow and small for this truck. It made it look a little too puny, you know, so I gave it a little bit more attitude with these wheels and tires, but we'll get to that in a second. You also get the jerry cans. Oops. You also get the jerry cans to put on the top, 4 of them. Now you also get these limb risers, which you have to assemble yourself. And one pro tip that I'd recommend to get these installed, because it can be a little bit tricky. So all the hardware, you have to assemble all of this yourself, and you get a length of cable, which you have to cut, measure it, and cut it based on where you mount the hardware. So what I'd recommend is I got this little hand drill there. You can use a standard drill if you want, but I use this to make like a little pilot hole in the grill, as well as up here on the spotlight. So screwed it in by hand just to get it started, and then I took this little piece here, put it in the end of my drill, just put it in the end of my drill, and very carefully just screwed it in place, because it's very hard to hold this and screw it in otherwise. So that gets the job done a little bit easier. I'd highly recommend you try it. The next thing I'd recommend is make sure you don't cut this thing to where it's too long, because you're going to lose them. So you want to measure it and cut it to where there's a bit of tension in it, not too much tension where you're going to wear the springs out, but not too soft where it's going to fall off if the truck falls over or something like that. So nice balance between the tension. You notice there's no slop in there, but it's not too tight. Same thing on the other side, you measure it and you cut it. But just remember, if you go to take the body off, you have to unhook these before you can get the body off. So that's a pro tip there. Now, as for this truck specific setup and the mods that I've made so far, I'm running some 1.9 Endura Mavericks tires. These are the rave right now. Everybody's talking about these Mavericks tires. 1.9 steel wheels. Love the look of it. I got these wheels because I thought they would match these little sand ladders right here, or the traction mats. Thought it's a good look. Very deep dish, lots of offset to get the tires from under the fender just a little bit. So gives it a nice proud stance. Love the overall look. Like I said, I did adjust the preload on the suspension. So max preload on the back, medium preload on the front. I did want to try and change the suspension, but like I said, I haven't driven the truck yet. So I'm going to wait a little bit to see how it performs, and then I'll decide afterwards. As for the stickers, I did take the Camel trophy off of the door right here. I feel like it says Camel trophy in too many spots. So I left the one on the window as well as the one on the top here. A little bit hard to get in the shot because the truck's so big, but left this one here. Took it off the side. It also said Land Rover stock right here. I feel like it just says Land Rover and Defender in too many spots. So I went ahead and removed those, and I can always add them in the future if I want to go for that full scale look. So also changed the license plate to the California plates. So if ever I want to have that super scale look, and I can always add them. Another dislike that I don't like about the truck is the stickers for the windows. They keep coming off for some reason. I don't like that too much, but overall, that's what I've done. I did add my own little accessories because they have color. The ones that come in the box, they're just plain black, as you can see here, but I may paint them and add them in the future. So that's really it. That's the main things, guys. We're gonna take this truck for a drive, so let's see how it performs. guys, so we're back in. Now I'm happy to report this big girl here, she performed really well, nice and smooth controls. One concern that I had about this truck was whether or not the tires would rub under the fenders, and rubbing was very minimal, so I don't think I need to go with smaller tires. It performed really well. Now we have two trucks here. I have the Yikon YK4107 and this FMS Camel trophy here, so you already know I'm gonna do a little battle between these two trail trucks to see how they perform and how they compare. Also, I made a change to this Yikon. I'm running J Concepts Tusks, and these are the Endura Mavericks, so I'm curious to see which of these two tires perform the best. So get subscribed to see that battle. That one's coming up very soon. Also guys, I want to say, if you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy making these videos. I love this RC world. I hope you enjoy it too. You know, I want to make sure you guys learn as much as possible and we can enjoy it together. So leave comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it so much. Have a wonderful day.